we've all watched Fruits Basket. That's why you're here, right? Because we're gonna talk about how the curse is broken today. Woo! Grab your cup, because it's time to spill the anime tea. The anime Fruits Basket tea is being spilled today. Let's talk about it. So yeah, spoilers, you have been warned. Let's break down season 3, episode 11 specifically of Fruits Basket. So here's what we know based off of this episode. First of all, I feel like a lot of people are looking this up because this is the first thing I looked up. If the curse broke in order of the zodiac animals, and it didn't. It doesn't break that way. It gets broken in different ways. Also, the very first time it got broken was with Kureno, and Kureno's not the first in the zodiac. So, and he wasn't even the first born in this like variation of the zodiac. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the order at all. This is the first time that all the members have been together or been born around the same time and been alive together. So that was a big deal. The banquet story that we got a little bit of in the first episode of season 1 of, you know, Fruits Basket remake, we got to see the entire story of the zodiacs, how they came to be, and like their relationship to the god in the story. God creates they cast a spell that ends up being the curse essentially, where all the zodiac members will be together in their next lives, in their past or their future lives for eternity essentially. Binding them together, I think that this is low-key, on a side note, the red string of fate. And I did not realize it until I rewatched this part of the episode, and it's funny because I just made a whole other symbols video about the red string of fate that's gonna come out soon. But anyway, it was pretty cool because the bonds or whatever, the strings that we see that actually connect all of the characters in the zodiacs and everything are red, intertwined with like each other and like other threads as well. And the cup that God used to make the spell, to cast the spell, was a red sake cup. So, you know, I feel like there was just that subtle, very subtle connection. Red string of fate is just such a subtle symbol in anime. Anyway, God makes the cat drink from the red cup, and then all the other animals follow in suit, starting with the rat and continuing on in order, and they basically are now all connected for all of eternity. So whenever they get reborn, they will be together. However, the cat, after drinking the sake that, you know, the spell is in, is really upset because they didn't want to live forever. They just wanted to like enjoy the life that they had with God while they could, and with the other animals, and like appreciate what they had when they had it. But God and the other animals were like, no, why would you ever think like that's not enough? We need to always be together. Like that was the promise that we made. And so that because of that, they shunned the cat. So it was slightly different than the stories that like we kind of learn or thought we learned through Fruits Basket, where, you know, we thought that the rat betrayed the cat. It actually had nothing to do with that in the actual story that they're using for this episode and for this show. So, I mean, that's good to know, but it was sad that they ended up being like really cold to the cat after that because they thought the cat didn't want to be with them. When in reality, the cat just wanted to like appreciate what already had, and which is a great moral for any story. Appreciate what you have as you have it. Because let's talk about like how the curse is broken, you know, what you all came here for. But before we do that, make sure you like this video if you are enjoying it so far. Now, there's not like a set specific way that is shown that how the curse is broken. So, you know, it's not a straightforward thing. There may be a more straightforward way of saying it, but this is how I interpreted how the curse is broken. An interesting like fact that got kind of shown throughout the series is that the curse was weakening, and Shigure kind of talks about this a couple episodes back from in season 3. I don't remember what episode it was, when he was talking about how like all the members are born at the same time. This never happened before, and they're all alive at the same time. They're all together for like this last final banquet. This is kind of like alluded to because the curse seems to be weakening, and this is like shown by how some of the characters don't keep their original forms. Like for example with Hattori being the dragon, he doesn't turn into the dragon, he turns into the seahorse. That's an example of the curse weakening, as well as Kureno turning into a sparrow instead of an actual rooster is another form of or like concept of the curse being weaker. And that might be one of the main reasons why Kureno specifically, his broke, not first, but maybe it's like one of the reasons his broke sooner is because of his more weakened connection that his animal is just a tiny little bird instead of what it was supposed to be. And that's the only really good reason I could see or come up with for Kureno. Other than that, there's no other reason why his broke first particularly. But for most of the other members who have their curse broken, besides like this episode where everyone's curse breaks kind of all at once. The main thing is that they either form a really strong connection with someone else, or they are more defiant or indifferent to the person who is the reincarnation of God, in this case Akito. So, for example, lots of the other members formed a really close, strong bond and connection to Toru because, you know, she was like the mom of the group. She kind of saved everyone in the group. And the ones that really, really were close to her, you can see their bonds breaking. Specifically with Momiji's bond breaking, which he was, what, the third, I think? But we did see parts where Haru's like bond was like cracking because he was acting against Akito in that one episode when he found out what happened to Rin, and like just so many different like things. And not everything had to do with Toru. Some things had to do with just like other characters and their relationships with other characters and like not being as close to the God character. But what happened in this episode particularly, and which is why we see most of and like the rest of the Zodiac members losing their connection and their bond to Akito and to the God, is because Akito gives up her connection to the God. She's like, I don't have to be special anymore, right? Like, it's okay, like I can be a regular person. And her like feeling that and like confirming that in herself basically releases the bonds between herself and the actual God, and like each of the characters and their relations to not only their Zodiac animals, but also to Akito, also to the God. So let's talk about how the characters were affected. Of course, now that they have the broken curse, their life can be more regular, but that does not erase all of the trauma and terrible things that happened to them because of the curse. The way that Akito treated them, you know, all the bad things that happened in their lives, people that they lost. Hattori, you know, lost the love of his life. You know, Kyo lost his mother because of it. Momiji can never really have like an actual relationship with his family possibly because of it. I don't know. We gotta see those next 2 episodes and how they go. I hope it ends positively. But there's just so many little details like that will never be able to be like fixed because of the effects of the curse. Each of the moments where the characters lose their bonds, it's like really beautiful because they're like crying and like, you know, they're moving through things. I love Kagura so much. Like, even though, you know, she's not my favorite character, there's lots of things that she did that was not that great. But like just the way that hers broke was so beautiful. Like she was just walking and then she was like the, you know, like the wind like moved past her and then she was crying. It was so gorgeous. I love that. That was probably my favorite one. But other than that, just like the moments where the characters could actually like, you know, hug the people that they loved, like Ayame and Mine. Oh my god, they were so cute. I love that moment to pieces. Of course, with Toru and Kyo actually being able to hug for the first time, I was like in tears on the floor. It was the most beautiful thing ever. I love Fruits Basket so much. Oh. Anyway, the bond has been broken, and it's crazy because, again, if we go back to the red string of fate theory, red string of fate could never break or bend, but it weakened over time. It did break, it did bend, and it did, you know, it snapped eventually because of the weight of what the Zodiac members were and like what they had to be. Yeah, it just felt like a really sad time, but it was great to see that each of the characters now have a chance to like live their actual lives without the weight of this bond tying them down. And like even Akito, like I wish the best for her as well. Yeah, I can go on about Fruits Basket for days and days and literal days because I'm a huge Furuba stan, but I won't. Instead, go watch my other video where I talk about the Zodiac characters and like their connections to one another if you want some more information about that. I also have the Soma Family Curse one explained, which talks about a little bit more backstory on like this video and like how the Soma Curse came to be and all that. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Phoenix. This has been the Anime Tea, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't cry over Fruits Basket too much because we'll make it through, okay? I'm gonna miss it too, okay? Anyway, bye.